now my portfolio is everything is crumbling down right now. Every single coin, every single stock, every single index, everything is just going to zero.
Maybe I'm being a bit overly dramatic, but really, when you start taking a look at all the news that's come out recently here, it's quite interesting. First of all, by the way, this is what we call a Black Monday. It's basically the tariffs that Trump has been going on about, right? Hitting the markets now all at once. The Thailand Stock Exchange temporarily banned short selling for this. Let's quickly continue on with a couple of more news and bits. Ethereum has dumped 46% since Eric Trump said that it was a great time to buy. Here's how the stock markets in different countries have done. So today, Hong Kong is down 13.6%. Taiwan is down 9.6%. Japan, 9.5%. And you get it. Just everything across the board is down some tremendous, some tremendous numbers. And I just start scrolling through here. Ultimately,
I've been buying the dip of many coins here, but the point that I will quickly state is, when you see things crashing with this amount of severity, right? The gap that we saw on the S&P was just severe. Just basically flash crashing all across the board. $1.4 billion worth of liquidations for crypto in the past 24 hours. Everybody just losing crazy money all around. And Trump, this is what somebody else says, Trump announcing elimination of capital gains tax turns into a minus 20% move. Would have to be the piss take of the century. And man, I'm just scrolling through this all. The probability of a recession is now just crazy high on every single... Oh, man.
Keep looking at this, man. Just keep looking at all these announcements. Traders fully price in 5 Fed interest rate cuts through 2025. Also, the hyper-liquid whale we talked about a bit earlier apparently has opened up a new massive long, 50x. He was the 50x whale. He now opened a 20x long for 33,000 Ethereum, so $50 million or so. On Hyperliquid, pretty interesting. China's sovereign fund says to further increase ETF holdings. That was actually, I guess, something quite good. Anyway, French bank shares halted at opening. Ethereum almost back to the FTX lows. China officials discussed accelerating stimulus plans to stabilize its economy to counter the Trump tariffs. And again, that's besides them saying that Trump is basically bullying them. And really, I'm just looking through all the news today and I'm mesmerized by everything that's going on. China's stock market suffers the worst single-day crash since 2008. The Chinese stock market falls 10% at open. Everything is just completely crumbling down. And all these different countries are thinking of maybe visiting Trump or having some new discussions going on because, again, it's just that crazy. Oh, no. We now have Jim Cramer predicting another 20% stock market crash from current levels. So I guess... he called the bottom, so to speak. Anyway, billionaire Mark Cuban says, don't sell, it will come back. I just don't know how long it will take. President Trump says someday people will realize that tariffs for the United States of America are a very beautiful thing. Sometimes you have to take medicine. And when asked about the current market conditions, he will not make a deal with China unless it solves trade deficit. JP Morgan says the Fed may have to cut interest rates before the next meeting. Holy smokes, guys. The Japan suspends the Nikkei stock futures trading due to circuit breaker. UK and German stocks futures fall over 4% is just absolutely crazy. So if you're wondering why, mostly it just has to do with tariffs. I can't really think of anything else. And of course, it's a bit of a cascade of when one thing starts to fall, everything basically starts to fall. S&P NASDAQ futures extend declines to 5.5%. Take a look at that gap, huh? Wow, just absolutely crazy numbers we are seeing right here, guys. I'm just completely in awe of the numbers. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says tariffs will not be postponed and will remain in place. The president needs to reset global trade. And I guess that's why we right now are facing some very, very interesting market dynamics, very interesting market moves because, well, yeah, I mean, they're resetting it.
But regardless, for days like this or on days like this, it is very crucial. It is important that you realize what you're holding for and your longer term vision. For me, my plan right now is add to my positions. But I'd say the best approach here is to start with the more, I'd say, less volatile assets. So again, it's basically a top-down approach, meaning I would not buy a small altcoin right now in times like this. It's only a very small amount of time in the cycle where buying small caps is a very good idea. Right now, that does not seem to be the case. It's still fine to farm all these different protocols. It's still fine to be involved with them. Regardless, as it currently stands, I'm just adding top-down, meaning the bigger assets that I've already got, I'll just keep adding more of. Smaller assets, I'll skip completely until way further down the line. More importantly, I like to add those when things are on the way back up instead of when things are on the way back down. But quality assets, so perhaps equities or perhaps even Bitcoin or maybe some Bitcoins like XRP, I think are always fine adding in situations like these. It's just, again, not wise sometimes when it's falling so dramatically. But the counter is, well, if there's extreme fear, there's extreme crashes, most of the time it turns out it's a wise idea to buy. In hindsight, right? It turns out it's a wise idea to buy. But it's not wise to go all in on moves like this, which is why the last few weeks I've been stating that, hey, I've got money to buy the dip. And a lot of you guys were asking, Dusty, why aren't you all in? Because you keep saying you want to buy when things are freaking low. Okay, little fun fact. It's apparently 27 degrees right now in my room. I'm sweating my balls off, but hey, it's okay because the market's doing us worse, right? Now, let me tell you this as a kind of like a conclusionary tale. Right now, it's one of the worst days all across the board. I just got another notification that this is the worst day we've seen for China since 2008, I believe it was. This is the worst day we've seen for Singapore since when? Let's quickly double confirm since what year. Apparently, this is the worst day for Singapore since whatever. You guys get it, right? The last 10, maybe 20 years or so. We've got the freaking Thailand Stock Exchange banning short selling. Is that not ridiculous? And so from that angle, you might say, Dusty, I'm so afraid to add here because, well, what if it crashes further? And I'll say, yes, it could. Like it always could. But think about it from this angle. If we've just seen the worst crash in so many years, you're getting yourself such a cheaper price than what you would have gotten a few days ago. The situation is, of course, different because if the crash has started right now, recession hits, obviously you're not going to have a good time. But my counter would be that I think historically speaking, it's not that stupid of an idea to buy on the day of the worst crash in 15 or whatever years. Again, I'm not guaranteeing you right now that we won't see further worse days, which is why it's always wise to scale in slowly, buy a bit right now, and get some money on the side for things to go worse. Because if things get better, I don't think you need to find yourself the best of the best dip. It's more important that you're able to add when the momentum is there. Add hard because there's only a small amount of time where really most of the money in crypto is made. This is mostly where you just protect your money, as I've said before. And you can have some shorts open. You can have some longs open. You can do some cool strategies with that. But more importantly, just keep focused and realize everything is going bad. It's not just crypto. It's not just your bags. Everybody in the world right now is losing money. Again, some countries are just completely screwed today, but it's all because of tariffs in the US. He could say something crazy tomorrow and everything's just 10 times as bad. He could say something really, really good tomorrow and everything just recovers by some crazy margins, 20% in a day. We do not know because this is, again, a bit above our pay grade, right? But all I say is add. We know what we're holding. Ultimately, it will be all right. And think about it. If somebody told you, oh, that was the worst crash in 20 years, well, about for example, previous event. Well, you know where the market is at right now, right? You know that it's up significantly from wherever that crash happened. Even though it might be that the 20% move down, the worst day ever, was followed by a couple bad days. In hindsight, I think it's still wise to buy when the craziest of crazy crashes happen. Hey, that's just me, maybe. Yeah, that's about it.